Hey everyone, thanks for stopping in to learn how to wall jump. I'm Adam Carson, the team manager and coach for Team Aspyre's Apex Legends team. Let's learn some wall tech. Let's start with keybinds, as this is the most important. Under the mouse and keyboard tab, you're going to find jump under movement. Space, leave it as key 1, as this is helpful and very natural for other people. You're going to set key 2 to scroll wheel down. The area that we're going to be using is actually down here on the bottom right. The wall jump is one of the easiest mechanics to learn, as it only requires one key and pretty much basic rewiring of the brain. To start off, we're going to be running at the wall and jumping to it, letting go of all of our keys. As you'll notice, when we jump at a wall, we stick to it. This is from a mechanic that allows us to climb up walls, as when we jump at the wall and release all of our keys, the game is still assuming that we're going to climb up the wall. During this time when we stick to the wall, we're going to be pressing the spacebar, or scroll wheel down. This will allow us to boost off the wall into a wall jump. Once you have this down, we can actually start to incorporate another key. This will be strafing, with A to go left and D to go right. When we jump at the wall, we will not only press space, but A to go left and D to go right. This will allow us to gain the momentum that we get from a wall jump into the designated direction that we want it to go. Congratulations, you now know how to wall jump. However, here are some tips and advice for you. This wall and this block is probably the best tool inside of the firing range to learn how to wall jump, and here's why. As you can see, there are advanced setups after and before it with b-hops as well as tap strafes. As usual, let's start with the settings, as this is the most important part. Under the mouse and keyboard tab, we are going to be looking at jump. Space should be still set to key 1, however, key 2 should be set to scroll wheel down. The area that we're going to be using during this time is down here on the bottom right, as this is one of the most useful places on the map. This is the most spammable movement in Apex Legends, and here's how we do it. If we start to move forward and start scrolling as fast as we can, you can notice that it looks like a b-hop. Well, that's because it is, just not the right kind that we want. In order to properly b-hop inside of Apex Legends, to gain the full momentum of a sprint inside of a slide is very simple actually. First, we're going to start sprinting. We're going to go into a slide. For the first few seconds of the slide, or the first part of the slide, we will be at the full momentum possible. It is then we actually start spamming the scroll wheel down. And that is exactly how to b-hop. It's very simple, as I said. But now, let's incorporate some keys. Just like for the wall jump tutorial, we do know that we can't be pressing W at all, because that ruins the momentum that we're able to use to turn from side to side, which is where strafing comes in. So now, while we're in that slide and the b-hop is going, we can press D and slowly turn our mouse right. This will allow us to turn right, while strafing, to give us and keep the full momentum possible. Once again, now let's try this with A instead. Everything is a lot more simple than people really make it out to be. All it is spamming scroll wheel down while sliding at a full sprint, and you pretty much have a b-hop. Turning can be a little bit tricky and it will take some practice, so don't be discouraged if you're not b-happing as far as the pros. As expected, the keybinds are the most important part, so let's go take a look. Under the mouse and keyboard tab, we are going to be looking at move forward and jump. If you haven't already set your key 2 to scroll wheel down from my other tutorials, please do that now, as well as taking a look at the wall jump and bee hopping tutorials. The thing that we're going to be looking at mostly today is move forward. We are going to be setting key 2 to scroll wheel up. The two areas that we're going to be using today, unlike one in the other tutorials, is the bottom right section over here, as well as this entire cliffside. This is one of the most advanced mechanics currently in Apex, due to its usage difficulty and the muscle memory that it uses is so drastically different than everything else. To start this off, we are going to be using this typical block that I used for the wall jump tutorial. As you can see, I've placed a hollow here at the corner of the block, as this is going to make it a lot easier to know when to jump. I want you guys to run and slide and then jump at the corner of the block. Now what I want you guys to do is whenever you start to slide, I want you to turn your camera 90 degrees. When you run and slide, you should not be pressing any keys other than your crouch hold option. That way, when you get to here and you start to jump, the moment right after, once again, right after you jump, you scroll wheel up. As you notice, when I slid to the corner, turn 90 degrees, I scroll wheeled down to jump and instantly scrolled back up to move forward. For a more realistic way of learning the tap strafe, we can actually go over here to the bottom left. So my goal here is to practice the right and left 90-degree tap strafes. The first goal is to getting on the second platform. My second goal is to actually get behind these. From there, as you can see, it's a simple run back, and the infinite loop can continue. That way you have the maximum efficiency of going right and left and getting all the way back to the start without too much effort.
Manages to find it 5-4 here. Aspyre gets the round, stops momentum, and they're at match point.
This is his time to shine, but the fuse is underway.
He
Then the audio cube, and he pops out just in time. Beautiful. Here on his short side, looking to find it, and does. Aspyre picks up round number 3. And another one there in favor of Aspyre. They're starting to run this one back. 21, maybe make it 2. And no, it's going to be a massacre everywhere. Pistols in hand. Aspyre takes it to map 3.